said you were going to take me out. You said I'd never wrestle again. But you made a big mistake when you started messing with the little singers. So now the time has come. And Flair, if you think you're invincible, think it over, Creed.
Jim, what's going on at this point in our timeline? I mean, we just heard, and it's so crazy when I think about this angle, because, you know, from the day that I got online, this was the angle I feel like everyone pointed to as WCW was snake bit from the beginning. And I was like, no way. They had dope shit. I started watching, it was Sting Vader. That was like the coolest thing ever. And they're like, yeah, even before that, Robocop showed up. And I'm like, Robocop? Who fucking was the wrestler that played Robocop? Oh, no, it wasn't a wrestler. It was just a guy that showed up. So we're here. We're here in that moment. And I just need to know, because I wasn't around when the first movie came out, was Robocop ever, like, really super cool?
Robocop was definitely cool when the first Robocop released. That was definitely a big thing. It was very violent, is what we were told. So I know I didn't get to see it like in the theater at first. Paul Verhoeven is a very interesting director. He directed Starship Troopers. He directed Robocop. He directed Basic Instinct. And his movies are beyond the surface level. When Starship Troopers came out, everybody thought it was dumb. But now with the world and what's happening in the world, people are like, oh, it's about fascism and this. And Robocop is kind of the same thing, right? Corporations funding the cops and making the police more militarized. He was a future teller. And his movies really had you go back and watch them, you definitely respect them a lot more watching them in hindsight, getting the satire, the tongue-in-cheek stuff. Question: did we previously have Robocop in WCW?
No.
Okay, so we're getting the return of Robocop, but he was never here before.
This is Jim Hurd's idea of we're doing corporate synergy. We're doing all this stuff because I think Orion Pictures was perhaps a division of Turner. I don't know. I'm assuming, because I'm like, either that or Jim really was stupid enough to bid for this ad placement, which is like,
if I'm not mistaken, Orion Pictures has a documentary about kind of like the rise and fall. There's a couple. Carol Co's another one. I think they did Terminator and maybe Commando and some movies like that. There's a lot of these when VHS debuted in the 80s. These little production companies all of a sudden could get their movies out to people, and they went from these little indies to kind of getting stars in movies. They have Jean-Claude Van Damme or Steven Seagal or those type of people. And I see where they're kind of trying to go with it. And Orion may have been under the Turner umbrella at this point, but I believe they do have a pretty good documentary. A couple of those 80s companies doing it. They're just great to watch.
Oh man, yeah, that was when I really came into, when I was a little kid was the zenith of the VHS, because it was the early to mid 90s. That was like the peak VHS, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like late 80s.
You had a stockpile at that point.
Yeah, it was awesome.
85, we're just looking scraps around here. Yeah. But when you get to the early 90s, you're like, no, we got fucking everything available to us now.
Right now, I can vividly remember for a fact that I rented this fucking pay-per-view because I think it's the Doom match. I'm like watching and I'm like, why is this so familiar? They like shot the shot and I finally got a good shot of like the scaffold entrance because I'm an entrance weirdo. I'm a real believer in big pay-per-views and all that stuff. You need like a dope fucking different entrance. And WCW was pretty good at that. They tried at least, and this was fucking cool. And it fit like the dystopian Robocop motif, but we're way ahead of ourselves. Unfortunately, we got to go way fucking back.
Why are you jumping to the good stuff? Let's wallow through this crap first. Let's do our finale of Shawshank, going through the tunnel of crap to sweet bliss.
Because
here's what I have. I've framed some of our big stories.
Yeah, please.
And that'll help us jump much. So 4 Horsemen, versus Lex, and by proxy, Sting. Sting's kind of like a moon around Lex. He's not sure if he trusts Lex, but he kind of does now, I guess. We get a WCW gets over stuff real fast. We go from Rick being like a horrible egomaniac to we kind of love Rick, and then now he's back to egomaniac with really nothing different. So Four Horsemen versus Lex and Sting, and the Four Horsemen kind of had some interesting developments. Mean Mark was in Japan.
Yes.
And I made a mistake. During a couple of matches after his return, I decided to, every time they mentioned Heart Punch, I took a sip of beer.
Oh,
I was passed out by every match. I never finished a Mean Mark match because I was passed out from how often they talk about the Heart Punch. Doom vs. Steiners on repeat.
Oh my God, I wrote that down. I was like, this would have been so cool had you chilled on doing it 100 times before the pay-per-view.
And giving us Doom wins to just be overturned.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think there's a disqualification, there's a count out, it's Ron versus Rick, it's Scott versus Ron, like just every single kind of combination you can get here, they bang the hell out of this. And then the last kind of big story I'm going to give is Flying Z's versus Midnight. Because there's one specific promo I will be referencing.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. Like I said, it's a long haul. So some things benefit, like for me, my highlight of this fucking watch was hands down Rock and Roll versus the Freebirds, man. That fucking angle during this little run was like, oh, thank you. Anytime those four individuals in some combo were on my TV, I was like, okay, we're good. We're not going to see some bullshit, Yeah,
I have on the April 14th, there's a Three Falls match. And so that was when I definitely marked for us. Like that's one to look for.
Yeah. So, all right.
I love the thought of Cactus and Kevin, who I call Kevtus. Kevtus has now also absorbed Buzz Sawyer into the mix, which just makes things so much more sane. Buzz, in his promos, he cries how Ric Flair woos.
Yeah.
Ric Flair would need to kind of break a thought and get to a new thought. He'll woo. Buzz cries. To move to a new point, and it's kind of fucking awesome. I love Buzz Sawyer. I love kayfabe Buzz Sawyer.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I always say, like, Buzz Sawyer is like, if you were to construct, I mean, he wasn't the tallest guy in the world, I guess, but like in the early 80s, if you were like, who's your fucking idea of a heel wrestler, but he can work his ass off? It's Buzz Sawyer. Huge, jacked guy, nuts. You can just see in his eyes, like he knows where the powder's at, but he also knows where the gun is. That guy, where it's like, woo, you can't ever relax with this dude. You got to be on a pivot with him, But it works.
Those three are in Norman's world. Kind of having a feud with Norman, who again is his own type of mentally different, and Captain Mike Rotunda, and you've been talking about Captain Mike Rotunda since we started this pod.
Yeah.
And as it kind of evolved, I was like, okay, and now we've definitely hit the point where I'm like, oh Jesus fucking Christ, he's like the captain from Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
And has his own boat, like Forrest Gump or something. I don't know. It's such a weird thing, and so it's Captain Mike Rotunda, Norman, and they always just kind of pull in like a third. For a while until we get to the pay-per-view and the Road Warriors are like, Captain Mike's take a step back. We'll help Norman out real fast.
Oh my God. That's even dumber too, because, and we'll get into it, but there's another element to this that they totally abandon as well. A reveal down the road that why the fuck was that guy not on pay-per-view? Anyway, we'll get to that, but where the fuck did we even start off this goddamn odyssey of bullshit? I'm trying to think of the last fucking show we had.
Another highlight this cycle too is the Flair matches, because he takes on, I think, Ricky Morton at one point. He takes on a lot of like single tag team wrestlers, but those matches are always good. I think my favorite thing right now about this cycle is the fact that how many episodes have we done together?
17.
Well,
This is 17 right now.
17. Holy crap!
Yeah, man.
I should be so much better at this point.
You're
17, and it is like we hit a time machine. I just watched a movie. It's called Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes. And the idea is on the ground floor, there's a man working in a shop with a TV there. And the TV there is 2 minutes ahead of his TV on the second floor in his apartment. And they just kind of keep going through this time loop of stuff. That's what this felt like. Because I want to give us some things to feel good about. April 27th, Bam Bam's back.
Yes.
I love they only brought back people we love. Bam Bam's back, April 27th. Barry's back, April 28th.
That was awesome.
Sid's back, May 11th. Paulie's back, May 18th. And I also missed... Oh, and Tony Schiavone's back, April 14th. Oh, also, Abdul the Butcher's back, April 28th. Like, they literally took everybody who were like, where did they go? Why I'm missing this person? And they said, you know what? We're going to bring them back. Like, I'm surprised Bruiser Brody didn't show up somewhere, unless he's already dead. I'm not sure.
Unfortunately.
But we had a lot of great reappearances. And it wasn't a lot of, like I said, people who was like, I don't want to see that person. It was so many people. I got excited to see them back on my screen. The Big Kahuna is no longer the Big Kahuna. He's dropped the Samoans and has now come back to Bam Bam. I guess he can only manage one team at a time.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. And the Samoans just suddenly talk for themselves, which at least... Oh, that's another thing that's great. We're finally back to the nucleus of just SST, and they're calling themselves SST. I did notice that on the pay-per-view, and I was like, thank fucking God. You know, we needed that, because fucking around. You know what? Samoan Savage, he does deserve a lot of credit. Very underrated. However, it's not the same, man. You need Samu, Fatu, man. And again, I came into wrestling, they were the Head Shrinkers already. I fucking loved the Head Shrinkers as a kid. I got it right away. I was like, these guys are working motherfuckers, but they're huge and they're menacing. So yeah, they got a lot of good things going. They just ignore them pretty much outright, which I don't understand at all. Yeah. So now I remember we were at fucking the end of Wrestle War. So the end of February. So now we have March going through. I don't fucking remember shit from March.
We good. Yeah, March, it was like a month to happen. It was in the spring. Yeah.
Nothing happens, and then we've got Rock and Roll on a Collision course, and you got the fabulous Freebirds playing around with the U.S. title still. We're still kind of in the delusion stage of them and Zeman and Pillman. And then finally, they do the angle where they steal the belts or whatever. And then that thank God parlays into them and Rock and Rolls, because they just dropped that WCW style, which I'm like, thank God. And then we get a great, what you mentioned earlier, around this time in April, we get the fucking beginning of Zeman and Pillman Midnights. And that fucking angle, I can just tell anyone that watched it as a kid, that would have been just mind-blowing. The fucking racket to the throat and the fucking guillotine leg drop, that's fucking amazing shit. That's like, even today, that would work.
Oh, yeah, it's great. There's one interesting Flying Z's promo. It's from the 310 Saturday night.
Yeah.
And they call out Cornette, because Cornette's a tennis player. That's why he has a tennis racket. And they called out Corny for having more doubles partners than Rock Hudson or Liberace. Are they referencing his cuckolding that we find out like 30 years in the future, or what?
I think, I'll be really honest, that more sounds like you're gay.
Just a gay thing.
I think it's like trying to be super careful because it's Turner and all that. But yeah, that sounds like you're on the down low, if you will.
When I heard that, I'm like, I wonder if it's like the cucky chair or whatever. I don't want to know more details about his sex life at all. Everything I know is involuntary.
Yeah, he's like Cheeto Man to me. I really don't want to know that that's a function he has in him. Yeah. So that was a fun little line, I guess.
We got a few Cactus Eddie matches.
Yes, those are great.
which was fun to cycle. They they'd extend a time limit, and
Yeah.
Eddie Gilbert, he's an upper level jobber at this point. Like if he's facing anybody with a name, he's going to lose.
Oh
But
yeah.
they always look good. Like they're always good, and it at least gives people the rub. Cactus beating him is a cool thing for a new guy.
I do remember around this time is when we get the aw shucks Eddie just so over the top babyface promo in the pink Sting shirt. Do you remember that? Well, I believe in the Stinger. And these horsemen, man, they're just but you know what? It's a fun little wrinkle because if you do notice going forward, when the baby faces get laid out, Eddie's one of the guys that runs out and finally gets the horseman out of the ring. So you know what? I'm like, so you guys can follow that line of fucking narrative, but you can't keep an angle going? Like, I don't understand. Now, granted, Ole is literally just about to get the book. He gets the book right after this show. He might have been involved with the finishes. I don't know, which would explain a lot because the finishes suck on the pay-per-view. But at this point, it's still committee, but I think committee knows they're fucked because it definitely feels like they got their buddies. Like, it makes a lot of sense from the Cornette, Kevin Sullivan, whatever camp. Wow, the rock and roll and the Midnights and the Freebirds are getting pushed again. Like, but hey, they're the best guys you got on TV every week.
The tag team scene is loaded again as long as they make a decision on people being able to win. Two partners bunking heads and that results in a pin is just it's just silly shit. I'd rather be beat by a finisher than your manager touched my leg and I got pinned because I couldn't get 260 pounds off me.
Yeah. It just the finishes of this era are just so fucking bullshit. Like a guy fall. How many finishes have we seen in any level where the finish is just a guy lays on a guy? And I'm just like, what? That beat you? What?
Put me in a torture rack. I'd rather go out that way than just somebody touched my toe and now I'm passed out.
It really gives credence to Scott Hall's whole philosophy of what he said. And I know it's Scott Hall, right? And whatever. But I just remember I watched a shoot interview with him and he goes, the thing is with us is we always did business. And if you think about it, he's not wrong. And what he meant was you look in the business and all these fucking title changes and shit, they'd have these fuck finishes and the guy, and he credited Kurt Hennig. He said, Kurt Hennig's the guy that taught me in AWA. Motherfucker, if I'm getting beat me. I want to take your finish. I want to fucking get destroyed because at least then I got something to work with next week on TV. And if I'm a heel, I can immediately go out and go, man, fucking beat me. And you see that was not the mentality of the time. So it's really cool to see, they're not kidding. They really were kind of the first guys that were like, we'll motherfuck you in the back. We'll politic. We'll get your fucking ass fired. However, I mean, if we're told to put you over, we'll put you fucking over. I don't know, man. There needs to be a lot more of that in 90 WCW. Granted, it's already happened, but fuck me.
I feel like we could put up 8 great tag teams right now.
Yeah.
It's just none of them can beat the other one with any kind of cleanliness or match logic, really.
No. We haven't mentioned my favorite tag team of this run. And this is, I don't think they stay around. The Minnesota Wrecking Crew 2. Managed by Ole Anderson. And these guys actually are, for those of you that are early 90s WWF watchers, the Beverly Brothers. And for those of you that are late 80s AWA watchers, they're Destruction Crew. And these guys fucking rule. I mean, in listening to different podcasts from people that are, of the age of, people that were watching, yourself included, these would have been guys you loved. And you see it in their job matches. They destroy fucking people. Their fucking finish where, I don't know what it is. He literally, the one guy lifts him up and the other guy just grabs him and slings him to the mat head first. I don't know what that really is, but it's awesome.
Would you like the next 10 minutes to go over your favorite feud from this cycle?
God, I mean,
Tommy Rich and Outlaw Deaton.
oh
Do you need
yeah.
10 minutes to kind of cover this all in detail or no?
Nah. I'll say this. I don't what the fuck happened with the grappler just becomes a redneck. This is the grappler from the old days, Joel Deaton. And I don't know, weird. I'm like, okay, so he's Outlaw Ron Bass. He's a better worker, maybe, but it was fucking weird. And like
He beat Tommy Rich on his first match. I was like, wait, what? Who? Where? What?
Another one. It's like fucking Gladiator, right? We get these weird moments in very early WCW where clearly it's a favor to somebody. I don't know who Joel's buddies with. Might be Sullivan, maybe. Either way, they come in, they get a little run, you know. It's like almost like, hey, we'll give you $5,000 for a month of shows. Pay off that debt or whatever. Pay that bail money, and then you can get out of town. I don't know, man.
Speaking of bail money,
Yeah.
remember when Kendall Windham came back for like that one match?
Oh.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's in a pokey right about now. I think it was February.
Yes,
the arrest went down or something. So yeah, it was funny. He came back for I think 2 matches last cycle, and then it was just gone.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Looks like a Wyndham to be named later, which happens on. I went through all the Power Hours.
Yeah.
So I at least had that. Like, if I get through those, I can kind of get this narrative of everything. I went back and watched the later, like Saturday nights. But Barry Windham coming back to the Horsemen. Because previously Woman and Flair were on the Slugger, and Woman is she's on a manhunt acquisition, and so she's going to be adding members to the 4 Horsemen. So the first one we get back is Barry, who's been there before. It's cool seeing Barry. It's cool having 4 Horsemen again instead of 3 people don't call themselves the 4 Horsemen.
Right.
So that's cool. I'm sure that'll last for a while.
Well, you do know why that is, right? So the whole reason that this even happened is a short-term issue. Well, it ends up being a long-term issue. Arn is hurt at this point. That's why you're not seeing Arn wrestle, because this is oddly enough kind of the beginning of his neck issues. So a little scary, because it's like literally, apparently, you know, when he was faced with this and people were like, what was the deal in 90? Arn has now kind of put it all together, and he's like, yeah, I think that was kind of the start of my neck shit. And so he's out at this point for, I don't know, it's not super long. I know he's back at some point in 90. Well, he's got to be back by Halloween Havoc because they wrestled Doom, him and Flair. So they were like, well, we got to keep doing the Horsemen. I mean, fuck, we're so fucked with injuries and bullshit. We can't pivot on another angle, which is also our biggest angle. So, you know, who's Sting going to beat if we have no Horsemen? So they were like, yeah, Barry already wanted to come in. Fucking Barry. He's like one of the best horsemen of all time. Probably the most underrated horseman easily. Unbelievable. Love Barry Windham. And then, well, we'll get to the other one. And that is literally a direct result of Arn being injured. So Barry was going to be part of the fold anyway. That's the permanent version. As
we get to Capital Combat, is Arn still TV champ?
Yeah, I think so. I think they just like kind of tabled it. I think they tabled it.
Yeah, it hasn't been matches or anything, so it's kind of like it was this.
I haven't seen any anywhere, and I've kind of been combing around. And one thing I did want to talk about, I forgot completely, was from March. It was on my first birthday, actually, which is a little odd. Flair defended the title in that match against Ricky Morton on Worldwide. Unbelievable match. Check this out. 3-4-90. Fucking incredible match. I mean, I feel like it's as good as any of their 86 matches. I mean, probably the cage match is better because it's a cage match, but this was awesome. I mean, Ricky just beats his ass. Flair's like, holy fuck. This is the total, like, Flair with a great baby face story, which is the baby face is a fucking little hair away from becoming the world champion. There are a couple false finishes where, like, legitimately retcon, I was like, Ricky Morton got the title for like a day? What happened? And then I went, fuck, they got me. And I'm not even kidding. You know, I've been watching this shit forever, and I was like, dude, I mean, Flair, how's Flair gonna kick out of that? And then he just like rolls the shoulder. He's very great with that here. And then, of course, it's like a fuck finish or something. No, actually, it isn't. Well, kind of. Flair rolls him up and uses the ropes. So we get a pinfall. And then Robert gets a match like a week later. It's not this match. So
okay. Yeah, I've got the Robert match. I had that one on the 4-6 Power Hour.
Yeah. There we go. That makes sense. Yeah. Well, the big one, and I told you about this because we're around this time as the 414 WCW episode, was the 3-hour special. And that's because Jim Herd's a fucking idiot, basically. And I guess the whole story is they were going to do a live clash in Houston. And it was going to be like a thing. I think it was them trying to counterbook. If I'm correct, I want to say it was like they wanted to run head-to-head with Saturday night's main event or something. That's why it was on a Saturday. And Jim Herd couldn't get his shit together, so that fell through. And for once, they actually were like, okay, let's do it in St. Louis. And because they were going to have Luger win the title. This is all contingent on that. So they wanted Luger to beat Flair on just a random TV twice because they were wanting to do it on the 14th. And then before that, I think the 31st, somewhere they were in St. Louis. So they're fucking with Flair here. And Flair literally, like, basically fucked up the trajectory of history in a weird way for TV wrestling because they couldn't do a clash because he was like, nah, I'm not putting him over. And they're like, well, fuck, that's stupid. A month before a pay-per-view. And he's like, I know. I have leverage, you fucking idiots. So we get a 3-hour WCW, which was fine. The main event's that 2 out of 3 for Rock and Roll and Fab. So it worked. It was great.
So one thing I want to talk about with the Freebirds this cycle is their story was just annoying to me. They're the best tag team and the best rock and roll band in the world.
Yeah.
This is probably right around like the Steel Wheels tour for the Rolling Stones. It was just like, we live in a kayfabe world here, and that's cool. But when you're telling me like they're the number one selling artist in Europe, I'm like, no, they're not. Like, I can't live in your delusion with you of you making. I saw the cover of Rolling Stone. You guys look great. Like, I don't know how to absorb that as a human being. Of just we're all just full of shit, just spewing shit.
I wonder if it's them almost tongue in cheek. I could totally see Michael Hayes going, well, hell, Vince does it. Let's fucking make fun of it. Because it is very Vince-ish, right? He does that. Where it's like, Honky Tonk Man, the number one country. You know what I mean? So I wonder if there's a wrinkle of that, but I agree with you. It's like, brother. And here's why it doesn't work, right? For Vince, it works because he's got a syndicated network. He's on USA. This is a different animal because you're on Turner, dude. Like, Turner's a big channel. It was like the first cable channel.
The biggest band in the world has production value.
Yeah.
And you do not, my friend.
Exactly. And it was weird. I think it was also like they thought like, man, let's be like the most delusional heels ever. But I think the problem was just like with everything in WCW, it was on one of the two just completely polar opposite spectrums of either it got pushed down your throat or it just didn't get enough love. And this one got pushed down our throat, you know? Because Jimmy's doing commentary on Pro. I think he might even be doing it on Worldwide with Lance Russell, and they're great together and all. But he spends the whole time like, we were in Munich yesterday, baby. And it's like, no, you weren't. Just like you said, it's overkill for sure.
When I was a kid, one of our neighbors, they said they had 13 Lamborghinis in their underground garage. And as an adult, at my first management job, I had this guy as a retired colonel in the Army Reserves. And he used to say, I can't work weekends because every weekend I fly over to Africa to deliver relief supplies. And I was just like, you make sales. Okay, whatever. I don't care what the fuck your delusion is at this point. It's just, when people kind of like said, living at the world's illusion, I just start kind of tuning you out. Of just everything out your mouth is bullshit. I'm like, well, what's even the point of fucking listening? Tell me you're the number one band in Madagascar. That one I'll believe.
I might buy
and that makes it funnier. Just find Mozambique. We're the number one band in Mozambique. It's much funnier than saying Europe, which we all know is not.
Yeah.
There was no Google. There was no Google for me to check out Mozambique's top grossing musical acts.
Well, and you know what? That's a lot of it. And let's just be honest. And I am from the South, and I will tell you. And you know what? Not to go there, but I'm proud in a way of being from where I'm from. You know, there's parts of it, right? But overall, I will admit, most Southerners are fucking idiots. And I really think there's people that bought it. There's people who are like, where's that Freebird album? Come on, brother. There were people in Walmarts in the South at this time absolutely going, you all got that Freebird album? And
I saw it on the TV.
I mean, it's just real. I mean, let's be real, even for 2025. There's idiots that bad now. I work with a couple that are literally like, did you see the WW? And I'm like, bro, no, don't be that guy. Like, don't be that guy. You can pay Sean Ross Sapp $5, man, and he'll give you the real deal. There's no reason for you to ever be in that level, you know? So, yeah, it wasn't the best angle in the world, but their matches were fantastic between the Rock and Roll and the Freebirds.
Yes.
This run of shows really made me understand how good of workers they are, because PS gets a lot of hate that he wasn't a good wrestler, and I don't get that. I think it depends on what you call wrestling. If you think, you know, guys, you know, doing great submissions and these really well thought out moves and spots is wrestling only, then yeah, he sucked. But if you think a guy manipulating the crowd fucking might have the best working punch ever, well, no, that's Jerry Lawler. I don't want to go that far, but he's right there. He's top 5 working punch ever. Michael Hayes. He can fucking simulate a fucking fight as good as anyone ever. He's like, oh, there's things I want to say that I'm like, that's a little too far, but like, he's a great brawler and he's a great seller, and he takes good enough bumps. He's got that problem like Jericho does, where he kind of, his feet never leave the ground even when they do, in the sense that he can't really pick his feet up much. Like, he's got that issue where he's not like nimble by any means. When you see Michael Hayes take a back bump, it's like watching Hogan take a fucking back bump. You're like, God, he's just like falling back. There's no jump to it. You watch fucking Kurt Hennig take a bump. It looks like a cat like running along a wall. But there's none of that here. But he's just so good at getting heat, being just believable as a fucking asshole. And I mean, he's top 3 promo of the 80s, which puts him probably top 10 all time. I mean, the promos he cuts here are fucking phenomenal. My favorite is the one when he returns from suspension. So he did get suspended around this time. There's a moment you probably noticed where it's just Jimmy talking about the Rock and Roll. That is because Michael might have gotten into some trouble with some Colombian exports, and he got slapped on the wrist for whatever it was, 30 days. When he comes back is the promo where they're in the dressing room and Jimmy's talking to the mirror and he's sitting the other way. So they do a great shot where it's zoomed in on the mirror of Jimmy talking, and then it zooms out and you see Jimmy in the back of his head, and Michael's been sitting there the whole time facing the other way. And he just goes into the promo about rock and rolls. Oh, give me a break. We're the real best band of all time. And and you can tell it's one take. And it's just like, this motherfucker was tremendous. Like, no wonder he is given this fucking, you know, sort of aura in WWE. The problem is he should be the one running shit. That's what this may, you know, like, to me, at least creatively, he should be running shit. If he's that smart, you motherfuckers shouldn't be running nothing. Give it to Michael Hayes. Jesus. Obviously, let him not be a piece of shit like he is, obviously, but like, God damn, man, this really opened my eyes to like, no, he's great. He's not just some guy.
Okay, so 414 is the super special 3-hour episode.
Yep.
And really, I think you and I only took from it at all was the Freebirds versus Rock and Roll 3 Falls match, right?
Yeah.
It's the only thing out of 3 hours, that's all we actually cared about from that card.
Is this also the show, though, with the big beat down on Luger where woman smacks him? It might be.
I had a 5'11". It could be. I had a 5'11" power hour where there was a Rick and Luger joined in progress.
Okay.
But what I wanted to focus on was the 428 episode. Like looking at my notes, actually feels like a big deal. It feels like such a bigger deal than that big show. You get your Minnesota Wrecking Crew versus Rick Steiner.
Yeah.
You get Abdul versus Bam Bam.
That was great.
I mean, come on, people, come on. They show us the return of Wyndham in the Rick Lex match, and it's the best of times. It's the worst of times. The best of times, we get Tony Schiavone.
Yes.
The worst of times, he doesn't have his mustache.
Yeah.
What have they done to my sweet boy?
He looks 12. Poor Tony.
It just makes me sad inside, man. It just makes me sad inside.
And you know what? So Tony's debut, it's no wonder he was crying in his foyer when he came back. Because, dude, this is how they introduce fucking Tony back. It's JR going, all right, we're going to go right back to the back and with a special interview with Sting. Never even says his name. Literally, Tony gets out, well, I'm standing here with Sting. And then literally during the promo, Sting goes, I'm going to take this from you, Tony Schiavone. And he never is seen again. It's like, fuck. He comes back. He's like, man, I had WWF for a year. I'm going to be like the guy. No. JR is still there, Tony. And JR.
Big man at campus.
JR's got to be the focus of everything, as we know already from WCW 1990. And, you know, hey, listen, I love JR. But very clearly, WCW was his little playground at this point. He definitely wasn't budging for nobody. That's for sure. Yeah, I wrote.
I don't really have.
Go ahead.
I have nothing else before Capital Combat at this point. So
I only have two things. I have the 5-5 episode is a fucking mess because of a rain delay for the Braves. It's like 30 minutes.
That's my only note is Braves rain delay.
The best thing, though, this is the best match on that show. It is a job 6-man. I don't know the jobbers, but what's important is it's Bam Bam, Cactus, and Sullivan. And here's what's vital here. And I actually clipped this match, and I will be putting it up on Threads as well because it's fucking phenomenal. Cactus invents a move, and I'm not kidding. He invented a move, and someone's got to steal this on the indies or something. He put a guy in a Cobra Clutch, and then he literally turned that into a facebuster. And it looked really good. I was like, damn, what the fuck? Why was that not his finish? Because he wasn't even thinking. And then after that...
Because he actually busted a face.
Yes. They beat the ever-loving shit out of these guys, but the finish is incredible. And this is another one that... I don't know the logistics are very great for like long-term use, but this is a great fucking tag team finish. Sullivan backdrops a guy into the arms of Bam Bam, who then power bombs him. And it is the scariest shit I've seen on this watch. This man almost dies.
I also love Kevin and Cactus. I remember in one of their matches they had a finish, and I was a finisher, and I was like, "Whoa, that was really cool and unique." So you guys are just out there fucking around and finding out.
Yes,
and it's turning out cool.
And it's like no wonder Bam Bam excelled in Japan. That's what fucking they did, especially back then in Japan, where like, I don't know, like Misawa invented the Emerald Flosion because he just had a guy up and dropped him on his neck, and he went, "Oh, that's a fucking move now." So yeah,
I just created something.
Yeah, cool. Well, folks, here we are. We are at the DC Armory. By all accounts, not a place you want to be after dark. Very seedy area. This is where RFK was, the old football stadium. This is old DC, and it's Capital Combat 90 time. Robocop has returned, even though he's never been here. And speaking of our opener, well, we have Schiavone in the Crow's Nest. He's at least given more than one line. He introduces shit, and it's your favorite fucking color and announce team, buddy. It's the return of Bob Caudle.
Caudle bringing that heat.
Jesus. And we'll get to later, he is very old and white. So here we go. It's Norman and the Road Warriors against Slaughterhouse, which I love that name. Someone's got to steal that. That's a good heel, crazy faction name.
Yeah, a good match. How can it not be? The finish was another brutal Hawk clothesline off the top. Like he's just murdering clothesline off the top rope. But I love it.
It works. Cactus gets fucking literally destroyed by Hawk. He gets fucking thrown over the barricade. And then Hawk goes, here you go, with the huge wooden steps before that was a thing. Yeah, this was fun. This was just a fun little, like, all right, let's do a sub. I can't imagine it was 10 minutes. So I would say like a fun little
It says 9:38.
Yeah. Little fucking opener to get everyone going. Cactus will get murdered. And Bam Bam doesn't have to take the fall. So it's perfect.
I mean, I couldn't even imagine how fun it'd be to work with Cactus because he just like do whatever you want. I'm cool.
Kill me.
And it's fine. Like, it's fine. I'm good.
Excuse me. What did you just say? Kill me.
Next match, Mean Mark and Johnny Ace. Now again, I also did the sip every time they said heart punch here, so I didn't make it to the end of the match. You'll have to let me know what happened.
It wasn't. I'll say this. I want to say it sucked because Johnny Ace, right? Like, I don't like him. I'll be honest. He was probably as good here as he was, like, in a long time. It was good. And I did write this because I had to shit on him. I wonder if this was the moment he knew Mrs. Baba would be scouting for foreign talent. And I wonder, because out of nowhere he was really good. But this is all about Mean Mark. And, I mean, I know he's a piece of shit now. There was a fucking aura around this dude. I can see why he got brought in for the Taker thing. It's like, no, this dude's going to be a top guy eventually. Not even that he's good in the ring yet. It's just he has instincts. And he knows enough that, like, I'm a huge fucking guy. So if I don't know what to do, just club the fuck out of them. And it works.
Yeah. Mean Mark is odd. He looks like he has jaundice. Like his coloring is just like he seems like he's in preparations for the role of the Undertaker already, and he's like 40% dead or decaying or something. It's just very odd. Like he's not one of those I'm getting to the beach and tanning big guys, and he is unique enough where he's doing the rope walk already. He's not brave enough to go to the center of the ring, but he'll get about a quarter out on the rope and hit somebody. So it's fun, and they really are hyping up. He was in Japan. He's a new man. Heart punch.
Yeah. And I mean, it's working. He's definitely, he does feel like he's leveled up here. It's not just like one half of the skyscrapers who are.
Yeah, he's solo now. Yeah. And so it's a nice rebranding for him.
I did not remember that he did all those weird taekwondo fucking kicks. He does like high kicks in this to Johnny Ace. I'm like thinking like, God, my brain's like fucked. Did he have a second life he could have had in UWFI? Holy shit. I suddenly want Mean Mark Callis versus Akira Maeda. But yeah, it was all right. And it wasn't going to be anything anyway, just like Samoan SWAT against Tommy Rich, my boy. Look at what they did to my boy here. Tagging with Captain Mike. You good?
Why was this 18 minutes long?
That was the problem. This thing was so long. At one point, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm having a full conversation with my wife. We got Bob's Burgers on. We're not paying attention to this at this point. I'm not paying attention.
I'm going to shock you here. They do bring up that Rotunda was in the pass, punt, and kick competition. I know you weren't expecting that to happen, but it was brought up. JR makes a fun comment during the match that Ole was out investigating the cage before the show. And I was like, I can't blame him. It's a different fucking cage every time. You got to see what the hell you're walking into this time.
Oh, and this cage is a fucking disaster. This is when Bob Caudle said the silent thing out loud. I don't know if you caught this. He literally.
Should we wait till we get to the match?
Huh?
Should we wait till we get to that match?
No.
Or you want to say it now?
I'm talking about this match. I'm talking about the.
Oh, this match. Okay, hit it.
Here with the Savage, the Samoans. Okay, Bob. Yeah. The Savages. All right. So that happened. That was the highlight of the match, unfortunately, and that tells you a lot. By the way, that was literally the highlight of the whole fucking match.
Captain Mike and Tommy Rich. Because it's just like, yeah, it's just a little sad, man.
Captain Mike and Tommy Rich sounds like a shock jock radio show in, like, for whatever reason, I want to say, like, New Hampshire. You know? Somewhere where they sail a lot. You know, so
there's a marina. There's definitely a marina.
Captain Mike and Tommy Rich. That kind of thing. And it would be better than this, actually.
There's an interview with the Steiners and Tony. And then after that, we see the winners of the Capital Combat contest.
I said about them, this is what my comment about the people that won.
Hit me.
They look whitey.
They kind of look like Superman's parents in the new movie.
Yeah. Whitey, my friends. I have a feeling that they weren't a fan of the next match because Teddy Long was involved. You know? I was just like, whoa, that looks like a guy that's name really is Lurch.
Yeah.
So this fucking ruled, though. This hair versus hair managers match. I'm not even gonna lie to you people. This was great. It was like 3 minutes and it was great. Okay.
They say it's 2, but it was definitely longer than 2 minutes. It's about 57. They say here. It's got to be longer than that.
Bullshit around it, like the entrances, Teddy taking his shit off, fucking winding up the punches. This shit was great.
Missy was ring announcing for some reason.
Why not? Get her out there.
Why not?
Yeah. This was awesome. Teddy was kind of jacked. I was so mad when he took his robe off, and I was like, fuck you, you have abs, you son of a bitch, man. What?
Yes.
Fuck you.
Yeah, Teddy was very, was it Sugar Teddy Long is what he was going by, because imitating Sugar Ray Leonard, this whole cycle pretty much, he would have boxing gloves with him, and
oh, yeah. He had the whole boxing thing. Paul Ellering literally took it away from him like a bully.
Mean man. One thing I guess we didn't cover at this point was we do get Sid joining the Horsemen.
Yes.
When he came back. Basically, when he came back on the 11th show, he came back as part of the Horsemen and only has a tux to wear. Right? Because when he comes back in that initial slugger or whatever it is, I believe he's in a tux. And then at Capital Combat, he's also in. I know Capital Combat, he was definitely in a tux. The whole damn show.
It was the same shit. It had to have been the same shit. Maybe he lost his luggage permanently. You know?
We have only one thing that fits you. It's just this old tux we have. But you get to be fancy. You get to dress like a penguin. Have fun.
Maybe part of that part of his brain that remembers like luggage eroded during this time would be my assumption.
The Horsemen as an ensemble, their wardrobe, their fit is just so mismatched all over the place. But I do appreciate. I imagine Rick saying, like, you know what, Sid, it'd be nice if you wear a suit, a nice tie, jacket, and then Sid just went out and rented a tux because he thought it's the same thing as a suit because he's from Arkansas or wherever.
He is, brother.
Does that make sense? He thinks a tux is a suit.
I'll put it like this. Do you know what I did in my first prom? I fucking went and rented a motherfucker, and I didn't know what I was doing. It looked horrible. It was like a fucking... it was like glittery. You know what I mean? Like, it was terrible.
Because you learned fancy dress from wrestling.
Yeah.
And so you don't know how to fucking dress. You're going to dress like Barry Windham, circa 1991.
I didn't know anything. I am from a town that had 3,000 fucking people in it, okay? Where I'm from, Logic just got there. Like, I'm starting to think that years where I'm from are shorter. It's like my childhood was like a prison sentence of stupidity. And yeah, Sid is actually from the exact other side of the state than where I'm from, quite literally. He's on the fucking little like the slither across the bridge from Memphis. That's why it's called West Memphis. And then I'm from literally all the way on the other side west on the little sliver by the Oklahoma border. So there you go.
Seeing a 6'8", 330-pound man just in a tuxedo at all times,
It's menacing.
It's worth it to me. Yeah, it's like scary as fuck. Like, is he like a Bond villain? What's going on in Sid's life that this tux is required?
Oh God. Yeah. So
next match. Okay. So basically, this with the show, it's really like two halves of the show.
Yes.
The first half, nothing much.
No.
Really, just not much. Second half,
awesome.
Now we've got the fun shit. Yeah.
And I can't believe I got to say this. Z-Man and Pillman against the Midnights. Cornette in a shark cage, not elevated, which was stupid as shit to me. Got to give Z-Man some credit. He was great here. Everyone was great here. This was great. This was like, if I'm going to like play Meltzer here, I really think it might be a 4-star affair. It was phenomenal.
Actually, you know what? I actually found it to be a little sloppy. And I think why? Because Pillman especially moves like at 1.25 speed.
Yeah.
And the Midnights are moving at 1. And so like there's a couple times where he tried to do like a sunset flip and he jumped too far because that's what he does. And so I think there was some general sloppiness with that because it just seemed like the speeds were off with what they were doing. But it was a very fun match, very good match. Cornette out in the shark cage. I find it funny when like the Midnights, Cornette's in the shark cage, which is literally only 3 feet farther back than where he normally stands.
Yeah.
And they don't know what the fuck to do in a match without his guidance. Like they're banging heads and they're like, Jim would have told us not to bang our heads. It's just like the weirdest thing that all of a sudden they're just fucking morons who don't know what to do without Jim Cornette saying tag, clothesline, finisher. But it was great. And this match also made me think though, and it was probably their best match for Flying Z's. But I looked at it and said, I hope now we're gonna get like we have enough tag teams back now. Let's get Pillman out in that singles run. Let's get Z-Man out in the singles run or team up with whoever. But we're light on faces already, so this is just a good opportunity. Get these guys back in Gen Pop, and you already brought in Rock and Rolls and whoever else to kind of cover the tag team load.
You have the right idea, but spoiler alert, if I'm not wrong, Pillman ain't the one that gets the push, unfortunately. So we have a lot of rough Z-Man matches that we get to watch later. I mean, Pillman's still around, but he doesn't get a push or nothing for a while.
He's just Z-Man everywhere.
He's Z-Man
all over the map.
He's all over. Jim Barnett's loving it. We get the weird Robocop angle here.
Excuse me? What do you mean weird?
So, first off, this is bizarre. Sting comes out by himself, and he's like, yeah.
Wait. No. First we get the Robocop doors, and then we get Sting walking down. Isn't that the way it goes, or no?
Yeah. I think you're right.
We really got to hit this in the right order. Okay, so first of all,
he walks through the Robocop portal.
It's Gordon. It is Gordon sitting outside of these double open doors, like, doors at an arena. It's Gordon standing there waiting to talk to Robocop. And there's just smoke machine, there's fog coming out of the room and like different colored lights going off in there. And there's, mechanical sounds, like just mechanical sounds. And Gordon's just, I just I'm just looking to speak to Robocop. Gentlemen, can I speak to Robocop back there? And so they do that. And then we cut to Sting walk into the ring. He's very heroic. Look at him back. And he walks down to the ring. And then the four horse, Andersons and Sid jump him and just put him into the Cornette cage. It's fucking hysterical.
It's fucking awesome. And then the best thing is then Robocop shows up. And I love that there are 5 guys, okay, versus okay, he's a robo guy, Robocop, okay. I mean, fucking Sid dwarfs this guy. Like, you're gonna tell me that 4 guys and Sid can't at least get this thing down? Now, granted, that's not the spot. You know, the classic, like, why in wrestling? Because it's not the spot. So it's not the spot to touch Robocop. So instead, they slink away like fucking scared fucking animals. And Robocop walks up to the door of the shark cage. And the problem is he's too forceful, and you literally see the rubber fucking door, like, bounce. And he just like barely opens it. And then Sting, who's been selling like, I'm locked in a glass case of emotion over here, just is like, oh, yeah. And he just goes back to his baby face shit. And that's it. That's the fucking angle they have for Robocop.
I will say the Andersons and Sid's reaction to seeing RoboCop was absolutely valid. I saw the first movie. He is a vile motherfucker. So for those guys to sneak away, that was a great idea. What I just find funny, and we were kind of talking about before, is just, okay, it's Capital Combat, the return of RoboCop, which every time they would say that, my wife would go, return of RoboCop? And it was just so silly. And it was just, if Sting never got locked in that cage, would we have seen RoboCop besides Gordon trying to interview him in the back? Like, what was, if he wasn't locked in the cage, what was the plan for RoboCop? That's what I want to know. That's why I don't like when things with the shows aren't logical. They show up and it's like, stuff happened today, and WWE was always big with that. 2 guys run into each other in the locker room, and now we actually have a main event for the show. And yes, it was just like, what was the plan for RoboCop? He's just going to sit in the back room in a smoke machine and not talk to Gordon? He's probably there to talk, I would think, right? Like he's trying to promote a movie? I don't know. It's just weird.
There you go, man. My other favorite is they don't even have a release day for the movie yet during this point, because they do show at one point RoboCop 2 in theaters this summer, and I'm like, you're not even telling us when. You know, that stuff is always intriguing, you know, like, but again, they know that you're watching the same fucking 2, 3, 4 channels for your news and shit, so you'll get it. We'll come out eventually with that date.
I just had to double check. The director of RoboCop 2 is Irvin Kershner, director of Empire Strikes Back. Huh. So that's interesting.
Yeah, that's weird. And I do know, and I know I told you, like, I'm gonna watch that movie before. I didn't do that because that was too much. That. What am I doing? Also, when you look it up, it's like a 2.9 on Rotten. It's not a good movie. It's fucking terrible.
I'm good.
We have a new return. We have another return to WCW. Junkyard Dog. Don't know what that's going to do for anybody at this time, but he does have a great little moment where Cornette shows up and he's like, we're the U.S. Tag Champs. Meh.
I am on Cornette's. I am siding with Cornette over JYD. He said, this is the interview segment for, people who put new champions, and JYD's just out here like, I'm back. So, God damn you all for making me agree with Jim Cornette on something.
Jim Herd did something, man. And then, so JYD with the great diss. You want to know where I've been? And he gives him his own address to his mother's house. And he's like, that's my address. That's my mom's house. Exactly. I'm your daddy. And I was like, okay, JYD, you won me back. That was fucking dope, dude.
Yeah, he didn't talk about bones to chew on or anything. Like, yeah, okay, I kind of maybe get into this. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, it was good. It was some good shit.
Wow, this is actually interesting. So next we get Rock and Roll versus the Freebirds. Yes. It actually doesn't have enough votes for a cage match rating.
That's because people...
No, nothing. To be fair, nothing in this show actually does. Only we ever watch a show.
This is one of those universally panned situations, I believe, with the Robocop situation. So, this was cool, other than Rock and Roll riding out on the worst entrance cart I've ever seen. It looked like a fucking tractor trailer with a jukebox taped to the back. I get what you're doing because Vince had made those like mini ring entrance things for Mania a thing, and they were cool. I admit, when I was a kid, that was my favorite thing like ever. This wasn't it.
I liked it kind of because I was like, it's just something different, at least. Like, so I was like, cool for that. But they come out, yeah, they're on. It's a jukebox between them, and it's playing like '50s music.
Uh-huh.
And I would think in 1990, if we're going to be talking about rock and roll,
Yeah.
you might want to at least update it to like Kiss or Boston, like
Please.
a 1950s like Eddie Cochran or something they're playing. I'm like, yeah, you guys are incredibly rock and roll.
You are definitely rock and roll when that term was invented, at least.
Everyone in the match is wearing long red tights.
Oh, I hate when they do that shit, man. Like, come on. You see each other when you're fucking laying out the match. You don't think like, hey, what color are you wearing, brother? I mean, I don't know, but it happens.
It took me a second. I was like, wait a minute, I can't tell who the hell's who. Just long hair, and I'm like JR trying to identify SST. I'm like, I don't know which person's which. They're all wearing long red tights and long.
Yeah. White boys in red tights. Well, there we go.
Okay, cage match has this labeled as a corporal punishment match.
Yeah.
As we entered the match, I was taking it as a leather strap match, like a strap match.
Uh-huh.
And so we got into the match. I'm like, wait a minute, isn't it a leather strap match?
No.
Because honestly, I had so many jokes prepared for strap-ons, and then I lost them all because we didn't get it. And then at the end, they bring out the strap, I guess, which looks kind of like a cat of nine tails. I'm trying to figure out whose sex closet that came out of. I've got to assume Kevin Sullivan's. And like a Rock and Roll Express hits like Jimmy Garvin lightly with it, and then they're gone. And I'm like, what the fuck was the purpose of what happened in this match? I feel like I was ripped off.
It was weird. And then here's another term for the match that I used because fucking PS straight up said that this was what he called it, a country whipping match. And now I know who came up with the concept in WWF later. Michael fucking Hayes, because I always wondered, like, why do they call it a country whipping match? I knew that was a thing in, like, World Class that they did a lot, and I'm sure that's where he got it. Yeah, so I was like, it was just confusing, because they'd be having a match, and then out of nowhere, it would just become a segment where they're just whipping. And I'm like, whoa, why didn't you just whip him to begin with and pin the guy? But it was a good enough match. It was nowhere near as good as the 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's the 2 out of 3 falls match was just so much more compelling.
Yes,
and to follow that up with this, just like the leather strap.
Yeah, it was pointless.
Was used for 4 seconds. It's not. At least in the haircut match, we got a damn haircut out of it. Here, I feel like there was not enough strap-on usage for me.
No, we need more straps on. But
they win it with a sunset flip, basically off the top. So again, still not winning with no finisher, but the sunset flips acceptable to get pinned by, I guess.
More old school finishes of just a roll up happens, which is like, whoa, okay.
It's like the Divas division from like 2010s.
Oh yeah,
everything's just a roll up.
Wonder who booked that too. But that leads us to match 101 of the never-ending Steiner's Doom feud for the NWA World Tag Team Championships. And again, much like the earlier match, this is okay, but we've seen better from them, I feel like. We've seen better from them 2 or 3 different times already. So to me, this was just sort of the means to an end. You know, it's like, okay, we've beat you motherfuckers into powder, so now let's just give you the belts, which was bizarre. There was one cool thing that happens, and that's Rick Steiner hits a fucking kneeling pile driver on Ron Simmons. And I'm like, you could have killed him. He didn't kill him, but it looked great. That was it. That was literally what I had. The finish sucked. Teddy distracts the ref. There's fuckery in the background. Somebody gets hit and literally just lays on the guy. And 1, 2, 3, Doom, win the belts.
Yeah, it was. When the first note I made, Steiner's versus Doom, was I miss Tyler Mane.
Yeah.
That man was here for like 2 months and then just disappeared. That huge 7-foot dude. Like, you couldn't find something for a 7-foot tall guy to do. Teddy was looking fresh. The new hair looked damn good on him. And I wrote down, there was an ending. It was just kind of just a weird thing of like a guy falling on another guy and he got pinned. It was just bizarre. Before that match, we did get, I don't know how you overlooked this, Doug Furnace with Tony Schiavone. One thing they were really hyping up during this is Lex was attacked by the Four Horsemen a little bit ago. He was in the hospital for 2 weeks. Sting comes out. Basically, Lex is defying science. He's like Robocop, but without all the robot shit involved. Yes. He's defying science by coming out here and taking on Ric Flair. So Lex Luger, who was the biggest douchebag in the world 2 months ago, is now our working class hero.
And here's the other key, because they said it 80 times. He had 103 fever 2 separate times. So this motherfucker, his organs are cooking inside of him. But by God, he's going to do this cage match against Flair.
He's going to do it for the Stingers, little Stingers out there, I think.
He's going to win the world title for the Stingers who don't like him.
And I think the good thing, though, is the main event's going to be in a steel cage, so nobody can get in there and interfere. It's just going to be those two to duke it out. 100%. As they've told us over and over again.
Well, and I mean, when we see what kind of cage this is, it's a very menacing cage because it is the flimsy as shit Thunderdome cage that they did not fix from when Muda like fucking went through it or whatever. It is rickety as all fuck. It looks horrible. And there's like, this is why I hate this fucking match. And I like forgot I had seen it before. I hate this match because the structure of the match is Flair trying to run away even though there's literally no conceivable way he can climb out. Because the top of the cage is curved into itself and creates a dome. Fucking Flair can't figure it out. He keeps scaling this fucker. So there's a moment in the match where for no reason, it's like in a ladder match when they just climb up the ladder to do spots and you're like, what? The fucking belt's over there. That's what this is. They're wrestling in the ring and it's like, okay. And then other than trying to win, Flair just runs away. And then Luger follows. And I'm like, why would you do that? Just let him tire himself out, fall off the cage. Right? Like if we're living in a kayfabe situation here.
You were just in the hospital for 2 weeks. Why are you exerting yourself by climbing a damn cage?
What the fuck's going on? So that sucked. And then Flair does a blade job out of nowhere. I guess he thought that was going to make this good. It did not. Then we're told Ole's raising the cage. Why do we know Ole's raising it? I don't know. Ole raised it, and in comes Wyndham. And in the worst, honestly, that wouldn't have even bothered me. The WCW special of, we put over the stipulation. We put over, it's in a cage. We're going to have a definite winner.
Nobody can interfere.
DQ. No, this is bullshit. Luger wins by DQ. So they ring the bell. Wyndham fucking, they're whooping ass in there. And then we get the debut of Elegante. Holy shit, buddy. And how can you describe what Elegante is wearing?
You can't put that on me. I can't describe what that is. He looks like a Mortal Kombat character, I think. I don't know which one, but he looks like a Mortal Kombat character.
He looks like
the Raiden, like who throws the hat, maybe? I don't know.
He looks like Pontius Pilate.
If
somebody...
If you're like 7'6".
Stretched the shit out of him and then put logos on it like it was Mortal Kombat. It's horrible. He does nothing either, by the way. He walks around the ring with Sting.
He does the Ricky Steamboat. He just stands back and doesn't do anything in a fight situation. He just stands back and acts like he might do something. This match, it's weird, right? Because it's Luger and Flair alone in the cage.
Yeah.
With women inside the cage. Like, okay. and the referee in the beginning finds like a lead pipe, an international object, as they say, in her sleeve or whatever, her glove. And you think at that point he'd say, well, maybe no, you just lost your privilege of being at ringside. But no, they keep her around. It's just so silly. It, it feels silly in a cage match for there to be rules about holding the ropes. Like I feel like Flair should be able to do a figure four and hold it up as much as he fucking wants. Because if I can bash your face into a cage, like I don't think this is cheating. All of a sudden, it's like so weird. The woman being there was weird. The one thing that JR says in the match is that Lex is a thinking man's wrestler. Oh
yeah, that was hilarious.
And this is after definitely not saying that for the last like 2 years. Especially you weren't saying that about him a month and a half ago when he was the biggest asshole in the world.
Well, yeah, he was saying he's delusional and shit, like for a year.
Yeah, it's just so weird. And Sting comes down elegante, and I was not prepared for that.
Me either.
Yeah, he comes down looking like a Roman. He's in the Roman Coliseum or something, and he just walks slowly. Doesn't touch anybody. Doesn't just moves in a lumbering manner. They get the Horseman away from the ring. That gets Barry slides under. They do the DQ. Then they lower the cage so they can beat the shit out of Luger. And then Sting, he looks at the cage, and I'm like, Sting, don't even fucking think about it, bro. Do not even fucking think about jumping on that cage. Don't even that's not even in your vocabulary, jumping on the cage right now. But for a minute, I think he was going to. JR does assure us there will be an investigation.
Thank God, JR. Thank you. You guys are always on top of those investigations, by the way, too, because you fuckers couldn't figure out Doom beat up Scott Steiner like a year ago.
It'll go to the Board of Governors and then go through it and then come back. But it's just ridiculously silly that they built up this match to then just go, eh.
Yeah. It's unbelievable.
Same as always.
Like, man. And again, you just had this scenario at Wrestle War, and you didn't pull the trigger. You somehow kept that simmering enough to where people are still reacting to Luger in this. And you didn't get the memo that, all right, man, whether it's the plans or not, we got to give Luger this belt. No. Hey, you know what? Let's get El Gigante out here instead of fucking give him the belt. Why? I don't know. Used to play for the Hawks. Maybe he'll be somebody cool for us.
I'm really interested to see what they saw on El Gigante's tape that decided to bring him in. Because this is post WWE, right?
No, this is before anything. He is green. He has never wrestled in his life.
God.
Yeah, no, what they saw on tape is simple. Him. And fucking Jim Herd's an idiot. And he's like, we're going to have our own. It literally was as simple as he went, we'll make our own Andre. He really thought that was going to be the deal. So that's all. That was it. Fucking terrible. And then, good for us. Ole gets the book. And I've got it pulled up already here. Our next episode going to be Clash of Champions 11, Coastal Crush. Now, this is heavily considered one of the better clashes, and that's wild considering some of the matches I see on this fucker, including Mike Rotunda and Zeman against SST, Flying Brian and Mean Mark, barn burner there. But the match of the show I know already because I've seen it on its own. U.S. Tag Titles, Midnights defending against the Rock and Roll. Doug Furnace getting a big Barry Windham match here that he will definitely lose. And this match I am intrigued by because I don't think I've ever seen it. U.S. title match, Luger defending against Sid. That kind of sounds awesome.
That does sound awesome.
Paul Orndorff against Arn. So Arn's back, not for the TV title. Orndorff's in WCW, which is great. Love Paul Orndorff.
Mm-hmm.
And our main event, world title, Ric Flair defending against Junkyard Dog. WCW, folks. They're taking advantage of this big opportunity they had with the Robocop, thing. We're gonna make it better, right? No.
Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
I hopped ahead to the Great American Bash just to take a look. Iron Sheik is back?
Oh my God. Well, they brought him back to try to earn that money they were paying him, I guess. Wild shit.
It looks fun. It looks fun at least. Lex Luger versus Mean Mark.
Oh yeah,
Take
yeah,
that.
yeah. Yeah, the Bash is great. That's when we start getting
Yeah.
a little, better shit, and then it falls to pieces by Starrcade. So we're in the middle of fucking 90, man. That was an experience. I feel like I did a lot of acid or something interesting. So who knows what the fuck's going on going forward.
I'm just glad that we got so many happy returns.
Thank God.
It wasn't a lot of returns that people were like, oh, I don't need to see. Like, so nobody really pops off for me right now.
Yeah.
Dick Murdoch coming back or something like that. It's like, no, it's like, oh, bam, 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 Abdullah. Okay, perfect. Like, this is what I'm looking for. Hopefully they stick around.
Doug Furnace. All right, maybe not. So yeah, that's what we have for you. Jim is on socials at the JIMDB. He's got the best screen name in the fucking biz. And then I am fucking scattered along the internet, just highway of shit. I am Troubles Wrestling Pod on Instagram and Threads. I am Troubles Weekly everywhere fucking else. That's just kind of how to even say it at this point. And yeah, I had fun in this watch along as like, oh man, this sucked, or Cactus is great. That was kind of it. And then at the end, it's about Sid coming back and Wyndham. So we'll at least have quality matches going forward. But yeah, it's definitely Jim Herd WCW, folks. So expect nothing better. It only gets worse from here. And that's all we got for you. So